Hi everyone, welcome to GRS Academy. This is Ankit Reddy, Geography faculty. So as part of the NCERT Foundation course, we are providing you demo videos at our channel, that is GRS Academy. So as part of that, in this video we are going to deal with the planetary winds or the permanent wind system of the Earth. Okay, right. So you'll try to understand you'll try to understand the entire the pattern of winds after completing this chapter. So in order to understand the wind system of the Earth, you need to understand the first 7 pressure belts of the Earth. Okay, 7 pressure belts of the Earth in order to understand the planetary winds and their direction. Okay, right. 0 degree latitude is called equator. Okay, so how many total? There are 7 pressure belts. There are 7 pressure belts. Okay, there are 7 pressure belts. 3 are thermally induced. Out of this, they are thermally induced based on temperature. 4 are dynamic. 4 are dynamic, right? So we'll start with equator. Please pay attention. If you do not have some clarity, please revise it twice. Okay, watch it video. So equator, you know that the direct rays of the sun, the vertical rays of the sun always fall on equator. And as you move towards the poles, what happens? The sun rays directly fall on equator, and as you move to the poles, the angle of inclination decreases. So the direct rays is slanting, not straight. So maximum heat can be seen in equatorial region. So as you move towards the poles, since the sun rays is slanting, here it is direct, and as you move to the higher altitude, it is slanting. So since the higher is maximum at the equator, temperature is high. And you know that when temperature is high, what happens? The air, when the temperatures are high, what happens? The air becomes light. When temperatures are high, what happens? The surface gets heated up, and the air above it also gets heated up. And when temperatures are high, the air becomes hot, and hot air expands. And it tries to move upwards. And where temperatures are low, when temperatures are low, the air becomes dense. Instead of going up, it settles down, giving a high pressure area. Okay, so when temperatures are high, air becomes hotter and it goes up, forming which type of pressure? Low pressure. So equatorial low pressure area. This region is low pressure because of high temperatures. Why? Because the air becomes hot and it expands and goes upward. Okay, next, polar region. 90 degree north, 90 degree south. So in this region, what happens? Since the direct rays of the sun fall in the equator, and as you move to the equator to poles, the rays angle of inclination decreases. They receive sun rays but not the insolation. Maximum insolation is received by equator. So here temperatures are, what will be the temperatures? Temperatures are high at equator, and as you move towards the pole, temperature decreases. So temperature is low. So what type of pressure you can see? Temperature, because same. Here also temperatures are low, pressure is high. Okay, so equatorial low pressure area, north polar high pressure area, south high pressure area. Getting my point? So 3 zones we have completed. Next, there is one more region here, is called subtropical region. Subtropical. And here you have subpolar. Okay, 60 to 65 degrees. Just a minute. 30 to 35 degrees. Okay. So equator region has low pressure area because of high temperatures. Why polar has high pressure area? Because of low temperature. Okay. Similarly, we have other two belts, both in northern and southern hemisphere, that is subtropical and subpolar. Now, the equator, since the temperatures are high at the equator, the air rises and move up to the troposphere, and after that it starts moving laterally. And when the air moves to the higher altitudes, what happens? Air becomes cool. And when air becomes cool, it becomes dense and it settles down. So air settles down. So it is rising at the equator, move laterally, and around 30 to 35 degree north and south latitude, the air is subsiding. So since now this region will be high pressure or low pressure, air is coming from high to low. What type of pressure it will have? Air is coming from higher latitudes to down. So what type of pressure it will have? High pressure area. So can I call it a subtropical high pressure area? Okay. Then moving on to subpolar region. See, Earth is a rotating body. Okay. It has centrifugal force and centripetal force. So what is centrifugal force and what is centrifugal force? Or see, let's say since the Earth is a rotating body, it has inward and outward force of movement. Okay. At the equator, what is the dominant feature? Temperature. At the subtropics, what is the important feature? Subsiding air. At the polar region, what is the dominant feature? Temperature. See, at subpolar there is no dominant feature. So the air moves outward because of the Earth rotation. The air moves outward. So when the air moves outward, what type of pressure it will have? Low pressure. Okay. So total 1, 2 in the north, 1 in the north and 1. Total 4 dynamic, 3 thermal. Equator and polar regions are thermal. Subpolar region, subtropicals are, these regions are dynamic. So understood the pressure belt, there are 7 pressure belts. Now, as you know, winds always move from high pressure area to low pressure area. Now, you know that Earth rotates. Because of the Earth rotation, there is a force called Coriolis force. So this Coriolis force deflects free moving air towards right in the northern hemisphere and towards left in the southern hemisphere. Okay, because of the Earth rotation, a force is generated, that is Coriolis force. So in the northern hemisphere, deflect towards right. In southern hemisphere, deflect towards left. Okay. Now, so subtropics, the winds always move from high pressure to low pressure. So it should move like this. Yes or no? Some subtropic region to equator, high pressure area, low pressure area. But there is a Coriolis force. There is a force called Coriolis force. So it deflects wind towards right in the northern hemisphere. Okay. High pressure to low pressure. See, winds are always named after the place where they origin. So which direction they are originating? They are originating in east and moving towards west. So can I call these winds as easterlies? Now, why winds are moving from subtropical region to equator region? Why? What is the reason? Because winds always move from high pressure to low pressure. They have to move straight. But Earth is a rotating body. Because of that, there is a force called Coriolis force. Winds in northern hemisphere deflect towards right. So they are deflecting towards right here. So they are originating in east and moving towards west. So can I call the winds which move between subtropical region and equator? They are called as easterlies. They are also called as tropical easterlies or trade winds. The direction is from east to west. Similarly, now if you move to the higher latitudes, winds has to move from subpolar tropical high pressure to subpolar low region. So winds has to move like this, yes or no? But as I told you, because of the Coriolis force, they are deflected towards So here they are moving from west to east. So winds are always named after the place where they originate. Where it is originating? West. So can I call it as westerlies? They are called as westerlies. They are moving from west to east. In subtropics and equatorial region, easterlies. They are moving from east to west. In 30 to 65 degree latitudes, winds are moving from west to east. They are called westerlies. Okay. And once again in polar region, they are also move here. They are called as polar. They are called as polar easterlies. Okay. So there are three permanent wind system for us: easterlies, westerlies. The easterlies are we call as trade winds, trade or tropical easterlies, westerlies, polar easterlies. So these three are winds. So easterlies move from east to west, push water towards east to west, give rainfall on eastern margins of the continent. Whereas westerlies move from west to east, push water towards east, west to east, give rainfall on the western margins of the continent. Easterlies give rainfall on the eastern margins, westerlies give on the western margins. Polar easterlies, eastern side. Okay, understood? Easterlies, westerlies and polar easterlies. Now let us try to solve some questions related to this topic. (2021) prelims. Consider following. In the tropical zone, the western sections of the oceans are warmer than the eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. So what happens here? Draw a small diagram here. Equator, subtropics, subpolar. This is subpolar, subtropics, equator. So what happens here? Winds move from east to west. Here west to east. So in tropical zone, this is tropical zone, right? 30 to 0, 30 to 65. This is tropical, this is temperate. So in tropical zone, western sections of the oceans are warmer than the eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. No. Okay. The point is, what happens in the tropical zone? Easterlies push water towards west. So warm water towards west. So in tropical zone, western sections of the oceans are warmer than the eastern section. Yes or no? Winds move in tropical zone. Winds move from east to west. So it will push the warm water towards west. Is it a statement correct? Yes. Yeah. They are pushing from east to west. So obviously western sections will be warmer. Warm water is pushed towards west. So in the tropical zone, the western sections of the oceans are warmer than the eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. Yes. Trade winds push water from east to west. Next. In temperate zone, that is above the 30 to 65 is temperate zone. The temperature zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of the warmer than the western sections. Yes, the western sections, in westerlies, water move from west to east. So they will push the warm water towards east. So eastern sections will be warmer. Getting my point? So in the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern sections of the ocean warmer. Getting my point? See. Okay, this is this thing. Okay, see, this is western section. Okay, so all eastern side water is pushing towards west side. Where? In tropical region. Here hot water is pushing towards eastern side. So westerlies is pushing what hot water towards east. Easterlies are pushing hot water towards west. So both the statements are correct. So in the tropical zone, the western sections of the oceans are warmer. In the eastern zone, in the temperate zone, which sections are warmer? Eastern zones. Next, sorry. Westerlies in southern hemisphere are stronger and persistent than the northern hemisphere. See, most of the landmass is concentrated in northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. Continents are seen more in northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere. And especially the 30 to 60 degrees, 40 to 60 degrees in the southern hemisphere, there is no land. So westerlies will move with high fast range because there is no continent to interrupt. So westerlies are more strong in southern hemisphere when compared to northern hemisphere. Yes or no? What I am trying to say is, in northern hemisphere it is dominated by continents. Southern hemisphere is there is no continent beyond Australia. There is Antarctica, but beyond that there is gap. 40-60 degrees latitude, there is gap. So winds move with heavy speed. Westerlies move with heavy speed. So southern hemisphere has the less landmass, yes or no, as compared to the northern hemisphere. True. Next, Coriolis force is higher in hemisphere as compared to the northern hemisphere. Wrong. Coriolis force is same everywhere. There is no difference between north and south. But what you say is southern hemisphere has less landmass when compared to northern hemisphere. So westerlies in southern hemisphere is stronger. Why? In southern hemisphere westerlies move with very fast because why? There is no landmass. Nothing to do with Coriolis force. So the statement only one is correct. Okay? Yeah. So you'll get further more clarification if you watch this videos related to this topic. Okay. I know that it is little difficult to understand all of the sudden if you are new to this subject. Already if you have hold on this subject, then this explanation will help you. So in order to get much more clarity on geography, please visit GRS Academy, which is beside Sudarshan Theatre. Visit our institute, join your NCERT Foundation course where we will be discussing each and every topic in detail and will make you to understand each topic with good conceptual clarity, and this will boost you 5 to 10 marks in your prelims examination where you will get to the prelims and try to get the opportunity of mains. Okay, thank you, all the best.